company Aqua Clarus, of which I lead, has been developing wastewater treatment systems for around about 20 years. And this is the latest model. Now this model uses very novel technology, and basically one of the aspects of this is that it's very compact. So what we've done with the technology is compact everything into a very small space. This is very important in a lot of houses where there's not very much room. Now this system is essentially for domestic houses with 6 to 8 people. The system treats between 700 and 1,000 litres of grey water a day. Now grey water is all the water from a house, excludes the toilet water. Now the water comes into this treatment system, into this collection tank here, and then it travels to this underground tank and then to the top cabinet. Typically these two tanks are in the ground. This tank can be removed from the system a bit if necessary at the house. And after the treatment of this water, we get a new product which is pure water, which we can see here. So the water that comes in is here, and the water that comes out is here. Now this water can be recycled back to the house for toilet flushing and cold water for washing machines, and also can be used above ground for surface irrigation. It's approved for that in Australia and produces very, very high quality water. This recycling of water back to the house can save up to 60% of household water consumption. Now this system, I just want to describe these tanks. These are both usually underground. This is the collection tank, as I said before, and this is the part of the treatment system. So what I'm going to do now is open up this and show you inside this treatment system. So the water comes into here and it's pumped from here up to a tank above, and then it flows down from that tank back down to this bottom tank. Now when it flows down a pipe, and it virtually is like a waterfall, and that aerates the water before it enters this bottom tank. Now it comes into this bottom tank through these pipes, and it goes through a biological bed, and this has bacteria growing on it which consumes the impurities in the water. The water that goes through this bed goes back up the top and around and around. Pumping isn't continuous, it's gradual, and the consumption of electricity in this system is very low. It's less than 1 kilowatt hour a day, which is significantly less than most other treatment systems. Now the water that goes up to the top of this tank here goes into a small header tank, and from there it flows into a membrane, a small amount of it, and it goes through this membrane filter which filters the water. The pores in this filter are around about the 1,000th of the thickness of a human hair, and that's why the water becomes so clear, and it comes back down into a small water tank here.
Through a UV steriliser.
When this water tank fills up, it pumps water out. First of all, some of the water goes back through the membrane
to clean it,
and then the rest of it gets pumped out of the system, usually to a water tank, which stores the water, which is then used for recycling. Now I'm going to show you what's inside this cabinet. Very important for maintaining these systems that it's easy to get at the components. So these components here are very easy to get at, and I'll show you up the top the access. I'm standing at virtually ground level now. This system has been put in for test, so that's why it's set up here. It's not in its usual position, which would normally, these two tanks would be in the ground. So to access the top of the treatment system, we just move the lid. Two panels that are at the side here, and now we can see the top of the system. Now, in here, as I said, there's the membrane, and there's a tank here, which actually, there is also more treatment in this tank before it goes through the membrane. So one of the aims of this system is to put all the technology into a very small area. So what we've done here, we've got the controller at the top, we've got access into the top of the membrane, top of the tank, which is easily done from the other side. And we've also, to get this controller, you just swing this out like that, and then you open up the controller and have access to this. Now this controller here controls the total system, and it is quite a novel process which we have developed over many years. What we have achieved in this, over this time, is to be able to treat this water to a very high standard in a very small, compact system. And this system takes up less space than any other approved greywater treatment system in Australia. Although we produce very high quality water, there's obviously a waste product
that is pumped to sewer. In addition,
if there's a big party in the house and there's 50 people come, the system's not going to be able to take it. So what happens then, the water comes in here and some of it's not treated, it just overflows to sewer.